open up so that I can see you, so that you can tell me what to say to my audience. Hi guys, I wanted to come on here and make a little talking video about something that I've really been thinking about I've been thinking about it for a long time, and then within this recent week, it's something that has come up a lot more, and that is BTS. I think we all probably know the K-pop group. It's fairly popular, and they just had their recent comeback. ARIRANG, I don't know how to pronounce it, not gonna lie. I think it probably, for people within the environment, for people who listen to K-pop, listen to BTS, I think we all have quite a lot of opinions about this exact comeback, but I also want to kind of open it up further and talk a bit about why I stopped being a BTS army, why it has been really hard for me to get back into BTS despite being like out of the fandom for many years and then thinking about coming back. So why I decided to no longer engage with them. This is something that happened many years ago. And then also why I can't get back into them, because I really tried. I really wanted to be able to enter the fandom, once again, give them like a second chance. But I haven't been able to do that. Something inside me is just not pulling towards that. And so I really wanted to try and reflect upon that and discuss it a little bit in this video. I started listening to K-pop in 2015. I was about 9-10 years old. I was very young, but this is when I got into K-pop. And from what I know, from what I remember, it wasn't until 2016 that I became like a fan of BTS. So I'd say around 2016, 10 years ago, that was when I started engaging with BTS and listening to their music. Right around this time, it was also the Wings comeback, if you know that album. They were very active at this point, so I think it makes a lot of sense why I was a big fan. This was alongside many other K-pop groups, so I solely found them because I was very active within the K-pop community. And I was just, listening to anything and everything that was K-pop related. And I really loved them. At this point, they were very young. They were like 18, 19, 20, that kind of age. So they were really, hot. They looked good. They performed and danced on stage. And it was a big thrill. And this was also around the time where they had released... So in Wings, they have solo songs. So they had released their own songs, which was very cool because then you got to see a little bit of each member as a personality. So that was also something that drew me in quite a lot. They released DNA in 2017. This is a part of a trilogy that starts. So this is the Love Yourself trilogy. This was when I was like huge army. This was peak where I listened to all K-pop, but BTS was my main group. So I remember that after DNA was released, they started going to the United States and they took part in things like The Ellen Show and Jimmy Fallon's talk show. I do not know what that one is called. I'm so sorry. I don't remember that. But they started participating in different talk shows, doing those small games that celebrities do when they enter these shows. And that was when I was like, oh, they're not just a K-pop group right now. They're actually something bigger. And I never, of course, you want to support your artists. You want them to be big. You want them to be successful, to have fame. And I truly wanted that for BTS too. And I still want that for them. It has never been a question about that. I just think that once I realized that, oh, this was a bigger thing, I was like kind of taking a few steps back. I was trying to see the picture, trying to be like, okay, but then who are they now? Do I want to take part in this or what? So I actually ended up in 2019 taking a very deliberate and very aware decision to step back from listening to BTS. I also stopped listening to quite a lot of K-pop, but it was an active choice that I stopped supporting BTS. And I did it because it didn't resonate with me. It didn't resonate with me what they were doing, because I fell in love with BTS because it was a K-pop group that was doing K-pop in Korea. And all of a sudden they turned into a global pop star group that was then doing global pop star things. And I just want to keep saying that there is nothing wrong with that, and I always have wanted the best for them. For me, it was just super hard to find that relatability in it, because when you want or when you support artists, it's because they're presenting you with something that you can resonate with or something that you find joy in. And I found a lot of joy in the K-pop aspect, hence why I listened to K-pop for so many years, and I still do. And all of a sudden they were no longer K-pop. And that was just not what I had subscribed to 3 years prior when I started standing them. And I think it's fair that I fall out, other people become fans. That's, I guess, the life of an artist. I stopped listening to quite a lot of K-pop, as I said, and I decided to kind of come back into K-pop in 2024. This was a very like easing into it thing, where I listened to a little bit of K-pop, tried to figure out what had been happening since I stopped listening. And I, of course, knew that BTS was in the military at this time, so they were no longer active. And that didn't really bother me. I mean, I was just trying to figure out the whole landscape. So I've just been not really listening to BTS for the past year, just because they weren't making any new music. So I was just looking into all of the other K-pop groups. However, they, of course, after all the members were out of the military, announced their comeback and that they were going to start, producing more music again. And I will say that did make me kind of intrigued, because I used to love BTS so much, so I really wanted to give it another shot and try and get back to it. So I've been listening to quite a lot of their music, and while I love their older music, 2018 and down, love it, I just, the new music, it doesn't resonate with me. It's really hard. I will support them in the sense that I love their discography from the first many years, but I find it really hard to actively support them, because the music and what they're producing now is just not something that I enjoy. And of course, I gave the ARIRANG album a shot. The day it came out, I listened to the entire album because, well, again, I want to try and support them. However, I must say it was disappointing. It was just a different sound, different type of songs, something that I hadn't expected from them, and to be honest, also quite plain, quite boring. Like, I do think the album felt a little bit rushed. No songs were hitting. I believe Swim is the title track, from what I understand. It's just very plain. I think plain really is the word to use here. It's music, it's not bad music, but it's also just not pulling you anywhere. It's not really tagging on you emotionally, and you're not really feeling a deep kind of connection, because anyone could have essentially made some of the music that they did. And that's the part that I think is a big shame. And it's unfortunately also why I can't get back into BTS, because they're just not doing something right now that is calling me. I wouldn't call myself an army, because I don't think that I have enough love and enough support for me to call myself that. So yeah, this was just super duper unstructured, a few thoughts, just a little bit about how I feel with BTS. And I know it's not a deeper dive into their comeback, because I honestly haven't looked into it that much. I did just listen to the songs and conclude that it didn't sway me anywhere at all. Yeah, and to be honest, if anyone has ideas or specific things that they would ever want me to talk about, please do just tell me. I'm very, very open at the moment to what kind of content to be making, as I am just experimenting with a bunch, and I love giving my opinion on things. So yeah, because I really love that some people are watching my videos. It makes me so happy. Like, you don't understand how happy it makes me. It's a really, really, really cool feeling. So yeah, I'm just sending all my love and so many grateful thoughts from here.